Hey everyone, welcome back to TJ Hates Quitters, where we are covering the Challenge USA over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. I'm joined by my co-host Katie, as always, and tonight's special guest is Javier, a fellow silent podcaster. Javier, welcome to the show. We did some Challenge All-Stars together. Glad to have you here for the USA, and what an episode you get to be on.
Yes, I'm so excited to be back to talk about the challenge and especially this episode because I have many thoughts. I'm sure all three of us have a lot of thoughts. So I'm excited to get into it.
I haven't taken my caps lock off since like 20 minutes before the episode ended. So
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm ready for it. Katie, how are you tonight?
Carrie, you made a request of me. And I kind of came through. I don't eat pie, but I do eat cheesecake. So I'm here to eat a slice of humble cheesecake. I'll only eat a bite on air because obviously no one wants to listen to someone eating on a podcast.
Okay,
But
ASMR moment.
I'm here. We're ready to talk about this show. This is the best challenge product that we have gotten in maybe a decade, honestly. Better than All Stars, better than the flagship show. We're here, and cheers to Viacom. I'm eating this cake, my humble cake. Shout out to the challenge.
Humble cheesecake. I love it.
If you don't follow Katie and I, and Javier as well, on Twitter, Katie had tweeted something along the lines of like, I need to eat humble pie because I was making fun of this season when like the cast first came out, and here it is, this product is great. And I, and of course, in all caps locks, replied, bring pie on the pod. And here is Katie coming through with the cheesecake, which cheesecake is exponentially better than pie anyway. So like I completely respect your humble cheesecake opinion, or like little change up there. Great move. Wow, well done. This I thought the episode made my night, but that was it.
Thank you so much. I'm having a sound issue, so give me 1 second. But thank you. I really came in with a bang, and now I'm going out with a bang because my sound is not working. So give me 1 second.
All right, Javier, while we're waiting for Katie to finish her cheesecake over there, which again, so jealous. My dinner sucked tonight. I would love a piece of cheesecake right now.
I would love cheesecake.
Oh, so good. How have you been feeling about this season so far? Not, you don't have to be biased by, the whole thing that just happened, but
Yeah.
how are you feeling about this?
I've been really enjoying this season. I think it's been a really great season. Like at first I was also apprehensive just because, like you're getting, I felt like, I don't know, I was very apprehensive at first just because it was like the third show of the challenge. Like low key, I get challenge fatigue from there being like the flagship show, like 3 seasons a year. So I've been, and it's been so far back to back, but honestly, the Challenge USA has been amazing so far. I've been really enjoying watching it. And I'm super excited to see what else continues to go on throughout the season. So
Yeah, I get your point 100% because with the flagship and then All Stars and then this, like literally All Stars ended, this started, and we just like
literally.
hit the ground running, no break in between. But it's almost like All Stars was like a nice little warm-up jog for the race we're running now, because I'll admit I didn't have the greatest expectations. But even though we're still until tonight like running kind of like TV show strong, if you will, it's been such good TV. Like all of this has just been so enjoyable, and I'm excited that there's got to be a whole bunch more viewers for this than the MTV one, and see like this is why there's the people who are challenge fans like are fucking fans. You know what I mean? Like they ride hard for this shit, and so I'm just so happy that we're getting a good product. So happy. Katie, how's your sound?
I'm doing great. I'm back. I'm back in action. Maybe I went a little too hard on the cake. I don't know, but
Never.
Listen, the show
possible.
deserves it. You
Yeah.
guys are so right. Like I had such low expectations coming into this, and every week they delivered. And this is one of the best, truly the best challenge episodes I've seen in quite a long time. Thanks to Kylan and Alyssa's pettiness, honestly.
Yes.
Shout out to them.
You know what? Normally we try to like run through with the beginning of the episode to the end and talk about it as we go. Straight vibes tonight. We're just going with it because we just got to talk about what happened. Like the first point I want to make, because I don't want to have to say this 80 more times throughout this podcast episode, so I want to make this little announcement up front. I understand why the cookout existed. I understand why it was bigger than themselves. They were doing something not outside of them. I get that. And I completely commend the cookout, one of the best alliances, if not the best alliance ever. Like, I don't watch Big Brother, so I'm not going to talk in absolutes, but I get it. I followed it. I enjoyed it. I wish Hannah was on this show because she was my favorite out of all of them. But anyway, like, I understand its importance. With that said, let's fucking go. Alyssa and Derrick coming in being like, let's get our fucking revenge. Come on, Kylan, come in. Get your, like, talk your shit, run your game. I am so excited that we have people who are coming in here and being like, I don't give a fuck who you were on my season. Let's fucking go. Also, like, never mind. I'm gonna stop. Someone else talk. Go ahead.
I was a little worried when the cast was announced to see so many Big Brother 23 people. And I really liked the cookout. I know Xavier got some heat. I gave him some heat too at the end for the way that he played. So I'm not really mad to see Xavier also eat a little humble cheesecake tonight on this episode, especially. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yes,
we'll
that's the point where I just stopped myself.
Yes. So, but I think, you know, I think the cookout really is historically the most successful alliance in Big Brother, the only alliance to get their final six to final six and have one of them win. I mean, it's pretty incredible what they did. What I'm excited for is what's to come throughout this season, because like Ozza's still there. She's part of the cookout. Like, let's see some revenge on Alyssa now and Kylan. Like, I want more revenge. Just give me more blindsides and more revenge. Like, this is what I'm here for. Let's see Big Brother just continue to eat each other alive. We got it on Big Brother 24 in the feeds this week. We're getting Big Brother eating each other alive on the challenge this week. I'm living for it.
Go ahead, Javier.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the cookout on BB23. And this was an amazing episode. Do I think this was good gameplay? I don't think it was good gameplay at all. I thought it was terrible gameplay. But was it entertaining? Yes. And that is what we're here for. And X was not my favorite member of the cookout. Like, I was more hurt when Tiffany went home 2 weeks ago because Tiffany and Hannah were my favorite. Mm-hmm. So seeing X go, like, I'm not sad about seeing X go, but I don't think it was good gameplay, but it was super entertaining. So I'm excited to like kind of see where things go from here on out. I guess we'll get into that. We'll get into more about what I think is going to impact the game moving on as we go through the episode, as we talk about the episode. Because I do think it's going to have implications for like Oz's game and the rest of the BB23's games as well.
I think what's interesting about the move is, besides the fact that I did not expect in the slightest Xavier and Shan to lose to David Alexander and Justine in a puzzle, unless like Justine's some puzzle queen that like I didn't know about, because I don't know much about Justine, like only what I got out of Josie on our Love Island podcast preseason, right? So she could be a puzzle queen. That's cool. I support that. But more so, the fact that like I liked that Alyssa was able to put friendships aside and go, you know what? Like, I am going to be petty, because those types of storylines drive the real challenge. Not that this is a fake challenge, but MTV challenge, like one of the reasons that I love MTV's challenge is because we have these story arcs from season after season, and like you get people getting like revenge on people from like 4 seasons ago. And a prime example is Johnny Bananas and Sarah are partners. They run rivals together. They crush the competition. And at the end, even though they seem to be getting along all season, Johnny Bananas is like, fuck you, I'm taking your half of the money. Like, the pettiness drives the challenge. And I was afraid that we were going to get like kind of like a prim and proper version of the challenge, because like we haven't really had any club scenes, and that you have a bunch of people who kind of like party together, go to premiere parties and like episode watches and all this stuff together. That was going to be like a little bit too polite, and I would need to borrow from the real world. Like, let's stop being polite and start being real here. I was afraid we weren't going to get that. And Alyssa and Kylan tonight, and I'm going to give more credit to Alyssa than Kylan, we're like, nah, Carrie, we got you. We're bringing this for you. Come on, this is the challenge. Let's go. And that just makes me so happy. So happy. Was it stupid? Absolutely. But I am happy, and that's what matters.
I think I'm going to not give more credit to Kylan, but I think Kylan is a messy king. We saw Kylan be a mess on Big Brother 23. And I'm just so happy that he's carrying out his messiness on the challenge. That, like, Alyssa, I'm not super here for this, like, oh, we need revenge for the cookout storyline, because I just don't feel like it's genuine. Kylan, though, came for this man's family live on television, got in this man's face and came for his family, and he's still going at him on a show that's filmed months later, and he's not letting go. And that's, like, really the amount of petty that I'm here for. Like, Alyssa and Derrick, okay, whatever, but, like, Kylan really put it over the edge for me. Like, I was just like, I can't believe this man is doing this again. And he's right. Xavier backstabbed him, so you know what? Gotta do what you gotta do.
I mean, I think that was like, I feel like the scene where Kylan was talking to Xavier in Big Brother 23, like that's like that's a Big Brother moment, like when he went in his face about his nephew. So to see him carry that over, like, I just feel like I think Kylan is actually the more petty, in my opinion, from between him and Alyssa. Like, yes. Kylan is just, the level of pettiness of this man is just insanity. To still keep going to still keep going after Xavier like this, I was just like in awe when they did this move. So
he will not let this man live his life.
Yep. His foot is on his neck.
On his neck. And I don't know, I'm living for it.
I also like the fact that we went after a winner. You know what I mean? Because I think that someone like Xavier can easily intimidate the other people on this cast because he is strong, he is smart, he clearly has a social game. Like, he just won Big Brother. That's someone that you either like want on your side, maybe as a shield, the way this season's going, because you want to keep strong people around, or just like to be afraid to go against, especially if he comes back into the house, because you do take that risk on this show. If you put someone in, there is a chance they're coming back. And so I like that we went after a big fish here.
I love it. I like that they weren't scared, because I would feel nervous, especially against David Alexander, to send in this man and start a war, an internal war against my own alliance, and really put it in David Alexander's hands. I mean, and I don't know that David Alexander really did too much, but like, you really had to be sure that you wanted to make this move, because there was a really good chance that Xavier was coming back. I mean, he's very smart. He's very strategic. He's very strong. Like, there's no reason why you would think Xavier wouldn't win in an elimination.
Yeah. I also feel bad for X in the sense that, like, can he ever be on reality TV again? He just lost to David. Like,
I know. Rest in peace. The
embarrassment of losing to David. X will never live that down. I almost feel a little bad for X just because he had to lose to David of all people. So
truly, what a fall from grace, going from winning the highest prize that anybody's ever won in Big Brother, and then just to go to losing to David Alexander. I mean, that's gotta sting. It's gotta sting.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do a quick recap for our girl Valencia, because she didn't get to watch the episode. So Valencia, like, TLDR is that David Alexander, aka like the flops, and his partner Justine lost trivia today. And so,
as we knew they would.
Yeah.
As soon as I was like, this is not going to be for David.
Alyssa and Kylan won. So Alyssa and Kylan together decide they're going to take their shot at Xavier, and they throw in Xavier and Shan from Survivor. So it's Xavier and Shan versus David Alexander and Justine in what ends up being a puzzle. And David Alexander and Justine won in some sort of miraculous fashion. So that's what you missed.
Tito is absolutely right, though. He did not lose to David. He lost to Justine. Let's not give David too much credit here. David got them into the elimination. Justine got them out of the elimination.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say that a lot of things from social media make sense after this episode, because I felt like, why is Shan going so hard at Alyssa? It was like, maybe not after last week's episode, but the one before. Mm-hmm. And now it makes sense, because Alyssa sent her packing. And quite frankly, so I admit, like, I didn't watch Shan's season. I know people were like really big on her, but then there seemed to be a turn, especially like after the season, when she's like, God wants me to be an influencer or whatever. Like, I'm not going to touch that. But I'm not the biggest fan of how she talks about the other people right now. Like, or I guess she isn't talking about them anymore on the season. Like, it's just the way that she kind of went about it that I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing you lose today dramatically. And so I was really rooting for Justine. I wasn't rooting for David Alexander. I was rooting for Justine because Justine seems cool. And like, I want her to be back with Shannon and Cash because like those Love Island girls are fun. And I was really rooting for, and I just want to see Shan like kind of fall apart. And now it makes sense with the whole back and forth between those two on Twitter a couple of weeks ago.
I think it's actually funny you bring up the whole Shan thing because I actually was writing when I was watching the episode, I was taking notes, and like Shan was kind of getting like a very like almost a villain edit, I feel, this whole season of the challenge. Because I haven't watched a lot of Survivor. I've probably seen like 3 or 4 seasons. One of the seasons I watched was Shan season, and I watched until she got eliminated, and then I stopped watching it. But like during her season, Shan was like fan favorite. Like everyone on Twitter was team Shan, and it was like Shan this, Shan that. Shan is the mastermind. And like the challenge has, I feel like she's almost fallen from grace because I saw her in drama with Tiffany when they got Tiffany out 2 weeks ago, beefing with Alyssa. So I feel like Shan has really like, this show has really ruined Shan's image in terms of like, she left Survivor as such a star, and now she has like a lot of backlash, it feels, online. And it's very interesting to see like the DRs of her like talking kind of like really rudely about all the other house guests or the challengers. Have Big Brother on the mind. but yeah, it's been very interesting to see the shift, the like 180 that Shan has done from her season on Survivor to like the challenge. So
yeah, I feel like she got a little bit like maybe almost like an anti-hero edit on Survivor. She had her Shantham when she was doing something devious. She was playing the game pretty hard. I'm not super surprised to see a little bit more petty come out. I feel like Survivor's not really like a petty show in general, but the challenge leans in. So I'm glad they're kind of like showing that side of it a little bit. I like it. What I was really nervous, and I know I said this earlier, but like I felt like there were so many connections coming into the show because like Shan was at Todrick Hall's house. Is that his name? Todrick Hall?
Yes.
Was at Todrick's house. We don't need to remember. He doesn't deserve it. But like for a little while Tiffany and Derrick and some of the others were there, and it's like they all really hung out after Big Brother. Like Big Brother 23.5 was like a real thing that brought in other people from other shows. So when I saw this cast announced, I was like, oh man, this is going to be like a steamroll. And it's actually the opposite of a steamroll. And I like that Shan is also getting in the mix of it a little bit. I mean, she's not on the show anymore, but I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I am just absolutely here for the way all of this is going down. And again, like I've said this on multiple of our podcasts now, I don't know if we're getting a season 2. But at this point, if we don't get a season 2, I will travel to wherever I need to and stand out front with a goddamn sign and be like, TJ Lavin, give me season 2. Like I'll go outside his house. I'll go outside his office. I will steal his BMX bike. Like I will do what I need to. But because I want to see some of these people back. And I want to see some others mixed in. And like, I want to keep this growing. Oh, I know I'm looking too far into the future, but like, we're getting such a good product right now. Like people who have not watched a challenge before this and have not had to put up with like the last 7 seasons of MTV's The Challenge, you do not know how fucking privileged you are right now.
And the people who are not watching the show because it doesn't have MTV people on it and they're like, it's not the real challenge, they're the ones that are really missing out because you're sitting through the D tier product of the flagship show for like 7 months at a time when that show is on for like 6 hours a night. It's not worth it. This is worth it. Watch this hour of TV every week. It is good. I promise you, it's good. As a longtime challenge fan since it started, this is better. This is some of the best challenge that we've ever seen.
Enjoy Josh Martinez, you idiots.
Yeah, have fun with Josh and Fessy. We're out here with Kyland, messy King Kyland. I'm all for it.
Don't get too excited. They might bring Josh and Fessy to the challenge.
No. Javier, you take that back right now. You take that back right now. We will
keep
you
Casey Clark, keep
Fessy,
keep Josh Martinez on the regular show. We'll keep the Cookout, Big Brother 23. Let's keep those folks. Yes. Let's keep Tyson. We'll keep all the good ones.
Pay Tyson whatever you need to get him back on every season as well, because I feel like he's gonna, especially after just how these first few episodes have gone, have a much higher asking price if they want him back for season 2. And CBS, pay it. You guys got the money. You can do it.
Pay it.
Okay. I think we've done a great job of like getting our emotions out. And I think that's part of
Yes.
like the best part of us jumping on right after the episode is like, I'm still all hyped up from it. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, hell yes, I get to talk about this right now. But let's give a little bit insight of like how we got to this situation. Plus, like, we almost more or less have skipped over trivia. We've skipped over trivia, the challenge staple of trivia. So we got to bring it back to the beginning. Let's first give a quick rundown of the pairs this week, which, by the way, when we were at the elimination, I'm fucking sitting there in a goddamn seat.
Felt like we
I would.
were.
If I could buy tickets to live eliminations, I would spend
Oh.
my summers abroad watching elimination. Well, I guess it was a winter, but I'll spend whatever abroad. I got a remote job, baby. Like tell me when and where. I won't say anything to anyone. I will not tell Gamer Vev. I will not tell Challenge
Vev.
Jay
Gamer
or-
Vev's getting it anyway, so you
Right,
may as
so-
well open it up to the
Yeah,
public.
Yeah, just let me down there. Like, let me be cheering on these people. That's what a dream. Quick side note is that some dude was walking down my street, like walking his dog, and he had a challenge shirt on. So like opened my third floor balcony sliding door, and I'm like, hey, nice shirt. And he's like, he had no idea where I was yelling it from. So anyway, I like the point I was trying to get to was when I think it was Kylan who's like, yeah, well, your algorithm is like messing things up. And they cut to TJ, and TJ's like, it's perfect.
This was such a peak TJ episode. Every single thing that PJ said, you could like feel the joy radiating out of him. And I just feel like he's having the best time. He also is not missing Josh Martinez and Fessy and Casey. He's like with his people right now. And I feel like he's really, truly enjoying himself.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Oh, it made me laugh. All right. Anyway, the partners from the perfect algorithm. We have Leo and Desi, which, by the way, Desi's confessional being like, yo, I'm with a cat. Like, this guy thinks that he's a cat. What am I doing here? Super. Give Desi more confessionals. She seems funny. Like, every time we get a confessional, I'm laughing. So, Kylan and Alyssa, obviously. Ben and Azza. Enzo and Cash. David and Justine, obviously. Xavier and Shan, obviously. Danny and Kira, not Kyra. Derrick and Sarah. Tyson and Kayla. Dominic and Angela. Cinco and Shannon. So those are our pairs.
Mm-hmm.
And after we get the pairs, we get a little bit of challenger check-in. We got the Love Island girls and Justine right away being like, I'm stuck with this fucking moron.
Literally.
Yep.
Just saying FML, like it's over for me. She
we
really
get
started
it.
throwing the flag, like it's done. I'm
She
going
was-
home.
I don't blame her,
She was packing before the challenge even started.
Yeah.
as she should.
Yeah. She's like,
She
"Can I
came
just-
close.
Yeah. Can I just like get my phone back now? Like, would that be okay?
Yeah.
Producers. Thanks.
We already know how this is going to end up.
But Cash, she talks some sense into Justine, which, by the way, like, I love Cache.
Yeah,
I'm
she's great.
very excited to go back and watch Love Island, whatever season she was on. I think it was season 3 for her. Like, her alone. She's phenomenal. Bring her back when we get season 2, because I'll pick it for it. So don't worry, it's coming. But she's like, you shouldn't have to worry about it because you have a big brother player on your team. And if a strong team like Alyssa and Kylan win, which like Cash is out here fucking predicting the future. Like she's Gamer Vev. She knows.
She is. Is Cash Gamer Vev?
I haven't seen them
on
on the same Twitter account before. So
Pink Rose, is that you?
she's on Vevmo, just like cat meme typing on her keyboard. Oh, my favorite thing is to drop a Vevmo reference and people are like, you mean Venmo? I'm like, no. And I know that we can't be the best of friends because you don't know what I mean by Vevmo. But they talk and Cash is like, don't worry about it. Don't worry, it'll be fine. So then we get Derrick and Alyssa, which they're eating Nani's noodles. Did you notice?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, those are Nani's. Do you have Nani's permission to be eating those noodles? And if you're going to be eating those noodles, you best be fighting a bitch after this because when Nani's eating your noodles, you know shit's going down.
Yep.
It's usually after a club scene. She's usually drunk to hammered and she's
Blasted.
eating that cup of noodles. And
Yep.
the two of them are sitting there eating them. I'm like, You guys you don't even know the legacy of the noodles, Derrick.
Nani should come out with her own line of noodles.
Nani's noodles. I would eat them.
Nani's noodles.
Nani's noodles. I love it.
I would totally eat them.
This part of the podcast is brought to you by Nani's Noodles. 1 cup of water heated up in the microwave after a drunk night means a great snack and some chaos will ensue. Nani's Noodles. Get them at a store near you. That's our first sponsor. Nani, hit me up.
Literally, Nani's noodles. I love it.
So we're getting more insight on, the whole rivalry, the revenge needed, the frustration of just being backstabbed and used, and you're a pawn in Big Brother 23 between Derrick and Alyssa. And do we need to expand more on this, or do either of you have something to say about this revenge? Katie, I know you kind of you did say something. So Javier, do you want to chime in on this? That Nitro does, but
I mean, I just I think I said earlier, I don't think it was good gameplay, but I just feel like this is not necessarily related to what you're saying, but it's related to at the beginning of the episode, they need to do something different with how they edit the show. Because right away I was like, okay, David is going to be in the elimination and probably Shannon next. They made it a little too obvious for me that this is going to be the elimination round. So I wish that I guess it's a reality TV trope. They can't really I don't know what they can do around that, but I wish they didn't make it so obvious that Kyle and Alyssa were going to flip on X. I wish they would have made me think a little harder than to know exactly what the outcome was going to be. Because I feel right from the first 5 minutes, I was like, okay, this is going to be the finale. This is going to be the end of the episode. These two are going to be competing, So
yeah, and I totally agree with you. And I've actually commended this version of the challenge for not doing that in the last few episodes. But this episode, from the first 5 minutes, it was obvious what was going to happen, which I was like, are they really going to make it this obvious? They haven't made it this obvious before. We got these flashback strategy talks. Would they really be going in this hard? Maybe they just knew they had a good episode on their hands, but you're totally right. I completely agree with you.
Yeah, and I think Katie had a good resolution to this a couple of weeks ago, which is we've been getting stuck with 90-minute episodes of MTV's A Challenge, where I would have loved to get 90-minute episodes of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. There's enough content for it. We're not even seeing the nights out. I know for a fact that Cashel, he got shit-faced the night before the elimination, and he was hungover as fuck on that Peloton. That came out, and the fact that he was drunk as a skunk, and I didn't even have an ounce of seeing that's bullshit. Give me 90-minute episodes. I want the club scenes too.
Yes, fully agree.
Yes, I miss the going out scenes. That's some of the best content on the challenge. Plus, I'm sure there might be, well, I don't know if these people are fight people, but on the regular challenge, we get a lot of fights there. It's always fun. Some relationship drama, give it all to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel this is one of the few times where like you said, I want the episodes longer. I want to have more insight into these people's relationships. I want more house dynamics. Cause there's you go a whole episode and you don't hear anything from multiple people. So I think if the episodes were longer, you could even make people fall even more into the show and into the different characters, into the different house dynamics than in these shorter episodes. So I definitely agree. I wish that we had longer episodes of this season as well.
I mean, let's be honest here. Hold on, I'm finding the comment for it. Oh, here we go. My girl Kiki is getting more airtime than some of our characters. And Tito, first and foremost, accept my formal apology. That has taken me until almost a half hour in to mention Kiki. We know that I defend Kiki to the death on my timeline, and I'll do it here. It's just such an exciting episode. But we are still 4 for 4 on our Kiki mentions, and we're I don't know, 0 for 4 on seeing almost anything from Kyra or Kira. I can't even say her name right still in this fucking episode 4. Kira in a confessional outside of being no bueno when they got the Spanish question wrong. Otherwise, we got more Kiki than some of these people. Give me 90 minutes. I want to get to know more of them. You're right. But also something that's kind of weird to me is I feel like people are kind of staying in their pockets in this house right now. The fact that someone like Xavier and someone like Shan get partnered up and are yeah, we just know of each other. We haven't really talked to each other in the house. You've been in there for at least a week and a half. You haven't like sat across from each other at the table eating cereal yet? Like, no, really?
Yeah,
So
that is
maybe
a little weird to me.
when
Like,
that
are
was
you guys
said, I was
not
like,
socializing in the house at all?
Yeah, it's
just
very bizarre.
Very.
sticking with what you know or who you know. But yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, 90-minute episodes. I will put that on my sign. I'll make 2 signs when I'm outside TJ's house. I'll have one for bring back the challenge for season 2, and the other hand will be make 90-minute episodes. So if we have any other messages, I can put them on the back. So we have 2 other things that we can really get across to TJ.
Perfect.
So just keep track of them, someone, please. Let's see. Oh yeah, and this is exactly leading into the next part of Shan and Xavier, where they're like, yeah, we like kind of just walk by each other all the time and say hi, but haven't really talked to each other. Just crazy to me because like, what else are you doing in there? Whatever. And so Shan thinks it's gonna be hard to fall on show lines after this week. Well, like, joke's on you, Shan. It happened this week. And they're each other's best insurance policy. So I don't know. I've always thought insurance was a scam. So maybe Shan wants to jump on that train with me.
Yeah. Seems
I
like
mean,
she needs like some kind of a Cobra policy or something now.
we need some Obamacare up in this because
Yeah.
we've got the insurance didn't work. It was insurance fraud.
We need universal health care.
Yeah, absolutely. We need the NHS. And so Shan really got let down by insurance. Me too, Shan. Me too. I gotta wait till fucking January for vision insurance. So which is a whole nother story.
Yikes.
But so yeah, Xavier said that him and okay, there was a sentence that I didn't catch at the end of. Xavier was like, yeah, I've got, or me and so have each other's back. Did he say Kylan in that? And do you remember? I mean, it would make sense if he did, just because of like how the episode panned out. Like, it was a confessional right before they went to commercial. It said Xavier's like, yeah, me and so have each other's back. Well, it was either Derrick or Kylan, but neither did. So whatever. I guess it was all for nothing.
Yeah, no, I think I know. There was a confessional where he's like, where Derrick and Alyssa were talking about how they're still mad at like the cookout and X.
Yeah.
And then X has a confessional saying, "Oh no, I'm over it. Like I'm past it." And I was laughing because I was like, "Of course you're past it, X. You won.
Yeah, you won.
What are you mad about? You played both of them." So I was like, "Of course you're past it, X." And then cut to X getting eliminated by them. I thought that was hilarious that X had that confessional, and then what actually ended up happening.
One X didn't see coming was Kylan.
Yep.
Yeah. Not only did you win, you won unanimously. Like, you literally have nothing to be mad at except for Kylan.
I don't know if that's
talking
him
about your
so much or who he was sitting next to.
Listen, we do not mention that man's name on here because
I didn't.
What a waste. What a waste. All right, let's get into the daily challenge, which I have to admit, this was probably the biggest disappointment for me in the show, was when they're standing there and a few of them are like, why does TJ have this look on his face? Like, why does he look like that? Like, people are visibly noticing that TJ looks like he got straight up, like, shot out of hell from his, like, tea party with the devil to be at today's challenge. And they're like, what? Huh? I don't know. And they didn't know it was trivia. Like, I just love when, like, in All Stars, when we had John A being like, oh shit, it's trivia. Look at TJ's face. Like, they knew, and that just brings me such, like, a sense of, like, joy. Just, like, they know what's happening, and they can't stop it, where they were all just standing there like, what is this? Like, they don't get the legacy that is trivia.
I kind of like that they didn't know.
For me, I just love the dread. But we also have, like, a smarter cast than we do on any MTV version.
They're, like, almost too smart. Like, we needed more dumb answers.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
The dumbest thing was Dom, once again, 2 weeks in a row, being rude as hell, saying that a shark is not an animal.
Yes,
bro. What?
They're a fish.
Yeah, bro, we know. Maybe they're not a mammal, but they're a fucking animal.
That was hilarious.
Are they mammals? Are sharks mammals? I don't even know. Dolphins are mammals.
I did look up if they're fish, and they are.
I don't
Okay.
think sharks are mammals, but don't quote me.
I'm not gonna say
Mm.
anything that I don't know because I want to flame Dominic for not knowing this, and I don't want it to turn what I don't
Well, yeah, I
know.
mean, I'm not about to be like indignant like him, being like, no, you're out. You're about
Sharks
to fall,
are
bro. You're
not
about to
mammals,
fall. And
by
they're
the
like, what?
way. Sharks are
Sharks.
not mammals. As
Sharks are not
per,
mem. Okay.
no, they're not.
Okay.
Perfect.
Um, I just got some sad baseball news like via text, so if I seem a little solemn for the
I'm
next 3 to
sorry.
5 seconds, I need to take a deep breath. But okay, yeah. I was also kind of mad because I thought I had a witty tweet when I'm like, yeah, pescatarians don't eat animals because fish aren't animals.
Oh, that's witty. I would have liked it if I saw it. I
Thank
didn't see
you.
it.
Because I put it with like the challenge hashtag so people would hopefully see it and be like, oh, that's a good one. Because he was so fucking adamant that what do you think of fishes? Like, they're not a human, so they're not a plant.
They're not insects,
They're,
so
I mean, insects are
yeah,
animals.
that's true. Insects are animals. You're right.
Like, they're not a gas.
I
No, they're
guess.
not. No, they're not.
What else are they? They're not inanimate objects. Like, what do you think a fish is?
Dom also had another moment where he was like, Tyson's my biggest challenger in here. He's my biggest, like, my biggest competition. And I was like, are you sure it's not yourself, though? Because, like, you literally almost went home because of your own dumb ass last week. So why do you think that you're even in the same league as Tyson?
I think I figured it out. Dominic is a land animal. He could not operate in the water last week. He does not know that fish are animals also in the water. Maybe he just doesn't fuck with water.
Maybe.
That's the only thing that I could come up with. But yeah, I was cracking up, and like Angela's like, no, it's an animal. Like,
Yeah.
of course he's not gonna listen to the woman because we've recently learned that Dom sucks. But
So wait,
yeah.
before we go on, can we talk about the really bad pun falling off the knowledge?
We haven't even started on that yet. Trust me, we weren't moving anywhere. We weren't moving anywhere.
Okay, good, because the Dominic thing happened after. I was like, we can't leave this awful pun out of the way.
Yeah, that was really bad.
Even TJ was like, TJ had to let everyone know, like, I did not write
Wasn't me.
Because he knew it was terrible.
He was not trying to take credit for that one.
No, I would have loved if he turned and was like, we gotta fire that writer. Like, sorry.
That would have been really funny.
You gotta go back to America. Like, we can't have you in Argentina.
Or if we looked at like the camera, like at the Office moment, like broke the fourth wall, like I didn't do that, y'all. So, like, that would have been really good.
So I did like how Shannon goes, I get stuck with Cinco for trivia. Like, we couldn't like lift things or something. She's funny. She's funny. So I'm glad she made it through week 1. But as we said, it was called falling off the knowledge, and the bad pun was falling off the no ledge, which okay, so anyway, how trivia ran this time, and I am interested on your opinions on this format of trivia, is we had 3 heats, and a question was asked. The question had multiple answers. So, for example, one of the questions was, what countries have Spanish as their like main language? And they kept going until someone either got it wrong or repeated a previous answer. If that happened, your floor was broken in half, and you fell 150 feet down the side of this building while TJ laughs hysterically at you. So if you were the first team to fall from your heat, you get sent to the losers round. If you're the team that wins your heat, you go to the winners round. And so there's 3 heats. We had 4 teams, and then 3 teams. And then the loser of the losers round was automatically going into the elimination, and the winner of the winners round were the like power couple for the week. So that is the format of it. And we've seen trivia run in a ton of different formats on this show. What did you think of this format of trivia?
I liked it. I think what I would have preferred is maybe like a mix of the losers and the winners round and some of the other things that we've seen before, where you have to kind of like take a shot at the other people who are up there with you and
Mm-hmm.
like knock something off to make them fall. Because I think it would have made things a little more interesting and showed some people's cards a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I like the setup as well because was I think in the last season of All Stars wasn't it by gender? Like it was like the men against each other and then all
Mm-hmm.
the women against
Mm-hmm.
each other. So I like that. Like you had to kind of collaborate with your partner. I think that was a good little like addition to it. Even though it seemed like in some groups one person was carrying the other, but it was still interesting to see that dynamic. So I enjoyed
Like
it.
Azza carrying Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Katie, that it would have been nice to make people take shots at each other, especially when you're in these dynamic pairs that keep switching every
Mm-hmm.
week. That it would have it would have been interesting because that then gives ammo for whenever, like
Yeah.
whether or not it's that challenge or elimination or um 3 eliminations down the road. Like that's something you don't forget. So I would have liked to see that as well. I think that could have been a good addition to it, but I'm happy with what we got for the first trivia of the Challenge USA. I do have a question for both of you. What the fuck was Enzo saying about doo-doo pies?
What
I
the fuck
wrote
is
that
Enzo ever
down. I
saying?
wrote it down because I was like, what is this man talking about?
Listen, if you watch Big Brother 22 and you had to listen to this man, or Big Brother 12, I'm sure from back, I didn't watch the feeds, but if you watch the feeds on Big Brother 22, this is not even close to the most like outlandish thing that this man says. So it didn't even faze me. But I was like, oh well, Enzo's being himself.
Literally, I was like, Enzo just says anything. Like this man,
Yeah.
literally, just the first thing that came to his brain, he just said it. I did not understand at all. And I did watch BB22. I didn't watch BB12 either. But BB22, I was like, yeah, he was definitely saying wild things too. So
Yeah. He's just
up Enzo's
bizarre.
alley.
Yes. Totally not surprising from Enzo.
I just want to know what he meant was a doo-doo pie. Like where body's gonna splat? Are you gonna shit yourself and
I
create
think he
doo-doo
means he's
pies?
shitting
Yeah,
his pants.
All
you shit
right.
your pants because you're afraid of the heights, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I've never called it that, but
No, just say you're going to shit your pants.
Yeah,
Nobody knows what a doo doo pie is. I would
well,
Google it, but like I'm scared.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Don't Google it.
Yeah,
something
I'm
you do
scared.
Yeah.
on incognito mode.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. In our first heat, we had Danny and Kyra, Xavier and Shan, Dominic and Angela, Shannon and Cinco. So Danny and I said Kyra again. It's Kira. I should literally write her name phonetically in these notes.
Mm.
Danny and Kira are the first eliminated and are going into the losers round. Is this where we got our Kiki reference? I can't even remember where we got the
No,
Kiki
I think we
reference.
got it before this when they were going up, like before the challenge started. Because he was
Okay.
like, if I fall and die,
Oh,
you get
Kiki, you have
everything.
all my stuff. Yes.
Yeah, but like, yeah, of
Perfect.
course, you're married.
Yeah. I
That's how
mean,
it
Hello.
works.
well, unless
Yeah.
they have a prenup and he has a side. I did a whole ass deep dive on
If
prenups
you
like 2
die,
weekends ago.
that voids a prenup? I
No,
mean,
no, no, but you can have
not
it.
voids a prenup.
You can have it written in your prenup. Like if I die, like let's say he has a kid from a different mother and he
Oh.
wants all of his shit to go to
True.
that kid, and he can write into his prenup like if I die, blah 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 blah. And so
Well, Kiki's
listen,
not signing that, okay?
I had some
Kiki's
people,
smarter than that.
Yeah. No, I mean, Kiki is the smartest. She's been
Mhm.
giving the best advice all season.
Hello.
So, anyway, Kiki, you don't have to take everything yet. He's still alive. He made it, even though he was the first one out of this round. So, Danny and Kira are the first ones to lose, and this is where we had the conversation about is a shark an animal? Is a fish an animal? We were a hash that out, but my God, was that stupid. So, um, Dom and Angela end up winning that round, despite the fact that Dom does not know that fish are animals. Fish
Yeah.
are friends, not food. So, anything else you want to mention from our first round here?
No, I don't think so.
All right, on to round 2. Tyson. I wrote Tyson and Angela like they're supposed to be together all the time. You guys weren't partners. Tyson and Kayla, Leo and Desi, Kylan and Alyssa, Sarah and Derrick. So they talk, or the first question, which do you think they did this on purpose, asking the Catwoman question for Leo?
But it's not Catwoman is not a cat.
Don't
What
tell
are we
Leo
so
that.
excited about?
Don't tell
She's a
Leo
woman in a cat suit.
I mean, that's probably Leo's wet dream. So I can tell you plenty of things he's excited about.
I know, but he's like, I love cats. And I'm like, okay, but this is like, that's not a question about cats. Just because the word cat is in it does not mean it's a question about cats. And then also Derrick is like, who watches these movies? I'm like, a lot of fucking people watch these. Like, I don't even watch these movies really, and I know who plays Catwoman. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
I would have been
Leo's obsession with cats is another thing that's gotten more screen time than half of these cast members.
That's
like,
true.
Cat members or cast members?
Cast. Yeah, Danny's wife and Leo's cats have more screen time than half these cast members. Another reason we 90-minute episodes, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true.
So
something I didn't like from this round was how rude Sarah was being to Derrick. Just because Derrick doesn't know who played Catwoman, you didn't either.
Yeah, why don't you answer, you asshole?
Yep.
You're older than him. You've experienced more Catwomen than Derrick has. You've probably experienced twice as many Catwomen as Derrick has. Like, shut up, Sarah.
Also, him not knowing. First of all, I took this as a little bit of a microaggression. I don't know if it's maybe me being like over the top, but
I did too.
I'm like, who? First of all, I haven't heard people all season talking about how smart Derrick is. Have you? Because I haven't.
No.
So what are you trying to say, Sarah? First of all, and second of all, just because he doesn't know who plays Catwoman is not reflective of his intelligence whatsoever. So like, back it up, bitch. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I agree with that. I'm about to have doctor about 3 years in front of my name. And if you ask me who plays Batman, I'm not going to be able to answer that question. I'm not dumb. I'm kind of dumb. Sometimes I'm dumb. But nonetheless, fuck you, Sarah. You were rude and you had some microaggressions in that statement.
Yep. I literally wrote, Sarah, what did you do to be like, give this energy towards Derrick out of nowhere? You haven't done anything. And I didn't like Sarah. Sarah was one of the few seasons of Survivor I did watch. And I didn't like her then. I didn't watch the season where she won. But I did watch the season where she lost to, I think, Tony, right? Maybe. But I didn't like her then, and I still don't like her now. So
you're on the right side of history.
Yep.
So Sarah and Derrick fall first because they don't know any Catwomen. Desi,
notice Sarah doesn't know either.
Yeah, both of them. It's a partnership. You're a duo. It's not Derrick's responsibility to know who all the Catwomen are.
Right.
Desi and Leo fall second. Tyson and Kayla, aka Tyla. Why can't I get anyone with Tyson correct? And which leaves Alyssa and Kylan as the winners of their round.
Mm-hmm.
Did Alyssa contribute any answers? Do you think?
Not that we saw.
Okay. I mean, she might have known some. I think she would have known the astrological signs.
She did that though.
That's what I'm saying.
She was up there. Oh.
Yeah, okay. So I'm like, maybe she contributed to that, or maybe. You know. So then
Kylan seems like he's into astrology.
I literally wrote Kylan is like scary smart. I feel like he didn't even think. He was just rapid fire. Like TJ would ask him the question, he just said it. Like he just knew. Like I was like, damn, Kylan, like you're like, this man seems like he's really killing trivia. I was like really shocked at how well he was doing.
I wasn't surprised when I heard. First of all, Kylan, I felt like would have been my most like if I were stuck with him for trivia, because I feel like he's like extremely online and he's like very complainy when things don't go his way on the internet. It's like a full meme.
Kylan complains.
Yes, it's like look at the hashtag. It's truly wild. It's like wild. The most random things this man has complained about in his Twitter past. And I just feel like if you're that extremely online and you're playing trivia, if you lose trivia, you're probably not going to take it well. So I was like worried for Alyssa in these moments, but it also doesn't surprise me that Kylan's good at trivia. He just seems like. He seems like he goes to like pub trivia nights a lot. Yes. Seems like the kind of guy. Now, I don't mean that as shade.
I love
like trivia is fun. Yeah, I don't mean that as a bad. It sounded shady, but I didn't mean it that way.
Our last round was Enzo and Cash, Ben and Azza, and David and Justine. So David and Justine lose first, which they got the first answer correct of their question, and I can't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. And David like puts his hand up for a high five from Justine, and Justine just like did not even acknowledge it.
Justine,
that was hilarious.
Such a mood.
And I mean, I just love that CBS is in on like, we're gonna make fun of this guy.
I mean, you have to. You truly have to. There's no other option.
And I feel like David must know that like people clown on him. Like he has to. Like there's
He
no way you don't
know.
know this. You know.
Yeah. Even so, when he was on Big Brother All Stars or Big Brother 22, Ovi, who was on Big Brother 21, ran his Twitter, and even Ovi, who was running his Twitter, was clowning him while he was in the house for not knowing what the fuck was going on. It's like this just has to be like this guy's life at this point.
It was probably also easier for CBS to like justify just how much they put him on this clown car pedestal because they knew that he was half of the team that beats Xavier and Shan in the elimination. So it's like, let's even build up the more like the jokiness of this guy and then like look what just happened. So I appreciate you putting those in, CBS. My favorite still is when he's like, I gotta be as good as Tyson, and then they just show him like falling off the tire contraption 2 weeks ago. It's like that was great. That was just so good. So Justine and David fall first. Cash and Enzo lose next, and my favorite reaction of all the trivia ones was fucking TJ's with Cash, where he's like, her face was just so good. Like he took such joy in Cash falling through that floor.
My favorite was when they were doing the states that start with N and Leo didn't know and he was like, uh-oh. And I was just like, the joy in this man's uh-oh right now. It's like he knows that he's about to hit that button, and it just made me so happy.
I love
so many good moments from TJ tonight.
Leo was just like, New Hampshire after they like hit the end of their bungee.
Yeah. I also didn't hear New Jersey.
No, New Jersey wasn't said.
Yeah.
So our losers round is Sarah and Derrick, Justine and David, Danny and Kira. And the question that they get is name NHL teams that have won the Stanley Cup. So Sarah, in her rudeness, is like, thanks for nothing, Derrick. I've got this one. And she's like, Chicago Blackhawks. And then we get to, and then we get New York Rangers next from Justine and David. And then it gets to Danny and Kira. And Kira's like, I don't know shit about sports. TJ's like, Danny, you're a professional athlete.
Literally. You are an former NFL player. You don't know the name of any professional hockey team that's won the Stanley Cup?
There's one in Dallas, the Dallas Stars. Like, he was a Dallas Cowboys player. How do you not at least pull that one out of your ass? But then he stumbles into Pittsburgh, which TJ's like, yeah, but what team plays in Pittsburgh? And he's like, I don't know. It's not the Pirates. They're baseball. And then
this was iconic.
It's like, Penguins? And he almost like said it in a way where it's like hard to understand. Like, he might have, like, you could have mistaken it for maybe a different hockey word, but like obviously there's only one answer. And he somehow says Penguins, and I loved his confessional. He's like, I don't know, they're like icy animals.
Yeah. Pittsburgh wins a lot and they're icy. I loved also when they like shot it back up to everybody watching and they're like, do you say Penguins? Like they were all like so hyped that he like guessed it right.
just the way he's like, they're an icy animal.
Yeah, that was really good.
I got too much enjoyment out of that. So Justine and Justine and David cannot pull out a second correct answer. They fall. Here's my other gripe with trivia this week. Let the losers play it out. Like, let me see the winner of the losers round just for my enjoyment. Make it a spelling bee.
Also, I want to shout out Derrick because he did name a hockey team and Sarah said that he wouldn't. So Derrick carried his weight and Sarah did not carry her weight. So
that's right.
More points for Derrick.
That's right.
Good job, Derrick. Way to sustain that partnership.
So now he's done. Hopefully he never has to work with her again.
The perfect algorithm might match them up. We don't know. So then we get the winners round, and Azza and Ben are out first. Angela and Dominic are out second, which leaves us with Kylan and Alyssa as our winners. So Kylan and Alyssa win, and David and Justine are going straight into the elimination. And this is where we got that confessional from Dominic being like, Tyson's my biggest competition, which like he might be, but there's also competitors between you and Tyson in terms of like who you're equating yourself against.
People love to embarrass themselves by comparing themselves or equating themselves to Tyson. Like, in what world, David and Dom, do you guys think that you're even in the same realm as Tyson? I just don't understand.
I have no idea. But after the challenge, we get a conversation with Xavier, Kylan, and Alyssa. So they're kind of like bantering back and forth. And Kylan says, like, listen, Xavier, you haven't experienced what we've experienced, which is having our trust broken. And Xavier says, if you want to throw me in, fine. But when I come back in, I'm joining Survivor and coming after both of you. At this point, did you think that they were really going to put Xavier in?
No, I didn't think so.
Based on the edit, yes. But based on that conversation alone, no.
I thought they were trying to throw us with the edit a little bit. I was like, there's no, it's just so heavy-handed that like they're just not going to do it. Or Kylan would be like, no, I don't know. Big Brother has to stick together. I didn't get a vibe that, I also didn't feel like this Alyssa thing was real. It felt like very much production planted. So for her to actually make that move, I was very surprised.
And Kylan says, like, I thought Alyssa and X were number ones, but if Alyssa wants to do this, then let's do this.
Yeah, Kylan's like, listen, I came for this man's family on live television. I'm ready to do this. I don't give a shit. I started it. Let me finish it.
This is cheesecake in comparison to what I've done previously.
Exactly.
So after we get some deliberation like we do each week between the winning team and the losing team. So David is like, well, what about if we go against Cinco and Shannon? And Justine's like, I would really not like to go against Cinco. Like, please and thank you.
Also, like, would you, David, want to go against Cinco? Like, what are you thinking? You don't...
But who does David want to go against? Let's be honest. Maybe Dom?
I think, if anything, okay.
He should have wanted to go against Dom. That's like the one person in the house that like probably, yeah. There you go. That's who they should be equating themselves to, each other.
If you're someone like David, though, that's almost an advantage where you have no self-awareness that like you do go in thinking against anyone, I can beat them. You don't have this like, if it was almost any other man in that house who was going against Xavier in that, they're probably like, oh shit. Xavier's a lawyer. He just won Big Brother. Like he is a level of intelligent, probably higher than 95% of the house, if not more. But David is too dumb to realize this. He does not have the self-awareness to realize like I'm out of my league right now. And that's almost like an advantage, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You're probably right. He probably just saunters his way through life, not giving a care to anything. If I'm David Alexander, that's what I'm doing. When he was on Big Brother 22, he was on the block and he was in the veto competition in OTEV and took prize money instead of trying to get the veto. I mean, literally. Like, come on. What are we doing with this man?
I remember that. I was very angry. I was like, what game are you playing?
Unreal, this guy.
He was getting ready for the challenge. That's what he was doing.
So. He was putting in his bank to get into TJ's final.
When I think of David Alexander, I think of the TikTok of them going around being like, who do you think is going to win Big Brother 24? And he's just like, ugh! And if you're not watching the video, you just missed my David Alexander impersonation. So sucks to suck. That's what I think of with him. It's just, if you say his name, that's the image that pops up. But
yep.
So after this conversation, we have Tyson, Kylan, and Alyssa talking. And Kylan and Alyssa are like, we think we're going to go after Xavier and Shan. And Tyson's confession, he's like, are they playing this game for me? Like, what is going on?
That made me like cackle. That made me actually, there are a few moments in this episode that made me cackle. That was one of them.
Oh, I laughed a lot at this episode.
Yeah. This is a good one.
So Kylan and Alyssa want to make sure that Angela is okay with it. And Angela comes in and it's like, yeah, well, we're going to have to go after each other eventually. Like, we're going to take the first shot. Fine. And then Angela comes in with this idea of let's blame it all on Shan. Shan's the bad apple. Sorry, Xavier, you got paired with a bad apple. That sucks. What did you think of Angela coming in saying this?
I was shocked to see that. Like, so first of all, like, me, am I like feelings towards Angela were that like she was kind of like bland on. I mean, her name was Blandula during her season, but like to see this like side of Angela for like 2 seconds, I was like, oh, like a little spice from Angela, like a little real petty. Like I just love that idea. I for like 2 seconds, I was like, okay, Angela, like maybe like you do have. Maybe you're bringing a new air to this type of game. Maybe you're coming with a new energy to this game. Maybe I should give you a second chance. So I actually really enjoyed that comment. So I really was like, oh yeah, very, very smart comment to like try to frame it in that way to try to keep you. And Alyssa did end up doing that when she voted in Shan and Xavier. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, X, like you were paired with Shan basically, and that's why we're voting you in. Like she did frame it like that. So good for Angela for being the one to pitch that idea.
Yeah, I had the same exact reaction for like a 0.5 seconds. I was like, oh, I'm not mad at this, Angela. But then I also was like, that's kind of shitty. And obviously it's not really going to work because, hello, like Alyssa is Xavier's like bestie in real life. And Kylan was obviously in a very tight alliance with him in Big Brother 23. It's like, I don't know about the logic there. But okay.
I didn't feel bad because then they cut to the confessional of Shan calling Kylan insufferable and
He is though.
Alyssa a little weasel.
Yes.
I'm not mad at either one of those.
I'm not mad, but like if you're gonna, she was running her mouth before they even threw her in. Like, I'm sorry, are you good enough of a liar, a social player, whatever, to have these opinions of people and that you think that they don't pick up on them? You know what I mean? Like if someone thinks I'm insufferable, usually I know, and usually I lay into it because like let me lay down the suffer, you know? Like so if I was Alyssa, I just wouldn't feel bad about it because I mean clearly they're not friends. They're gonna be partners on season 11 Rivals. So
Alyssa changed her, what did she call her, Megamind or something? She changed
Megamind,
her profile.
yeah.
She changed her Twitter profile picture to Megamind tonight.
good for her leaning into it. Like,
yeah, it's pretty funny.
I'm here for it. You know what? I know that I'm here for this pettiness. I am here for Alyssa coming in and completely neglecting the why the cookout existed and what it accomplished for her own sake. Like, you know what? You guys got yours. Now it's time to get mine. Go off, Alyssa. Make dumb decisions. Burn some bridges on the way out. I fucking love it. I'm just so happy. So happy this happened. So we get to the elimination, and this is where
Wait. Before we move on, can I just bring something up real quick?
No, just go ahead. What's up?
I find it very interesting that the only deliberations they showed were obviously the people who were going in, David and Justine. Yep. And then only Angela and Tyson. I find it very interesting that like these challenges are giving these people power. Like I feel like Angela and Tyson are already so strong. I find it very interesting that like why do you guys think that these challenges are like giving them even more information, giving them so much say? Because I feel like if I see that you are the head dog, I'm gonna wanna, and I finally have power. If I were in their situation, I wouldn't want to give you more power. I feel like they gave them more ammunition, more ability to make moves. So I think it was very interesting that like people are really respecting Angela and Tyson in these kind of games where I feel like on another type of game show, you might like be like, oh wait, we're gonna actually try to stay away from Angela and Tyson because we don't want to give them more information, you know?
I agree with you. And I think even as Kylan won 2 challenges as well in a row. So it's kind of, as did Tyson. Angela, we haven't had more. Let me figure out a better way to phrase this. Each winner has had a repeat winner so far. There's never been a brand new team that hasn't won before yet for all of these challenges. So I think good on Kylan for probably lessening his, well, maybe not because of the move he made, but lessening his threat level a little bit. And also maybe like making Tyson and Angela feel more comfortable with him to kind of bring him maybe up to like their threshold of power. We'll see. But it is interesting. You're right. I mean, like, why are we tipping everything in their favor even more than it already is?
Well, I think the other thing to consider is weren't those two their partners in the last challenge? Kylan and
Oh yeah, that's
Angela,
true.
Tyson and Alyssa.
Yeah, that's true.
So if, and I'm sure this happened, especially on Tyson's end, like I've got you, you got me. That's your most recent non Big Brother alliance. Well, yeah, I mean, given Angela and Kylan are both Big Brother, but Tyson there, you know, like that's your most recent partnership. And if they are strong, I guess that like to me it makes a little bit of sense because they were partners last, and it's like I want to keep them in. I did promise them that I'd be good with them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't actually think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think of that either.
That's why they pay me the big bucks over here. So going to the elimination, we've got Derrick like motioning to Alyssa, like, don't do it. Don't do it. This isn't this. Don't make this move. Please don't. It's a puzzle. Xavier lives for puzzles against David Alexander. Like he is 100% gonna come back. And Alyssa like leans over to Kyle and is like, are we gonna do it? And these two nut up and do it.
I almost feel like this is just dumb luck that this worked out this way because truly, you really trusted David to take out this man. Like, we have seen David do nothing but flop. In the history of him being on television, he has done nothing but flop. Like, there's nothing that he's done that hasn't been a flop. So, like, yeah, I guess a broken clock has to be right twice a day at some point, but you really just did this knowing full well that there was a really good chance that Xavier was going to come back in the house and come for you. Like, the balls.
Mm-hmm. In the words of Enzo, I think Alyssa and Colin has some doodoo pies up in there because because I know if I threw X in and that man came back, I would be freaking out.
Oh my god, yes.
So
I want to see Kylan and Xavier in a hall brawl.
Oh,
like we
my
need
God.
that. We deserve that.
Yes.
Let Xavier take out his anger on this man. I need to see it.
That would be insane. Even though I do think Kylan might win that, but I still want to see it.
Yeah, it would be a good one.
This doofus over here wrote Ozzo's confessional is hilarious. Do I remember what the confessional is? Absolutely not. But because she had the one at the end of the show,
Yeah.
and it's not that one. But I think she was like, "Oh, the tea is hot" or something like that. Like she said something else, but I think she was also kind of like hyping up Alyssa a little bit. So we get this elimination, which we've talked about, but we haven't fully explained it, where I might need some help on this because as Katie and I talked about last week, we don't really listen to the directions of these challenges.
It's not that I don't listen. I just like physically can't. I turn off while the directions are happening. And then once it comes out, I'm like, oh, boop, okay, the challenge started. I cannot help it physically.
I was busy making caps locks tweets on Twitter because I was seeing a bunch of people being like, this is stupid strategy, and like, oh my god, you guys are still so bitter. Well, you know what drives the challenge? Stupid strategy and bitterness.
Yeah.
Like if you were to make an ingredients list for the challenge, the top one is bitter. So I had to let the people know we don't give a fuck about your big old brain over there. We don't operate with those over here. That's not what we do. We're here for the drama, for the petty and the stupidity, because it creates enjoyable television. So I was out here Elmo chaos memeing it up while the directions were being given. So but here's how I understood it. I think at each panel there was 2 glass panes, and you had to punch or you had to break your glass pane, but you had to break one and your partner had to break one. And if you broke your partner's glass pane, then you got a 10-second penalty for each glass pane that you broke of your partner's once you got all the puzzle pieces out and you were ready to start the puzzle. So basically there would be the 2 glass panes, and then there was like a tunnel to crawl through, another glass pane, and so on till at the end of this tunnel you've got 12 puzzle pieces, I think. Maybe, I don't know, whatever. Let's say 12 for the sake of it. Sure. 12 puzzle pieces. You can only bring one back at a time. So once you like broke through the glass the first time, it was just crawling back and forth. And After you got all of your puzzle pieces, you can then put the puzzle together. The first team to do this wins. So this elimination starts, and Xavier is like, Kylan, let me show you what you chose to do tonight. And it's just hulking through glass. Hulking through it.
Not my finest moment, but I did tweet that Xavier was hot. Because I was like, okay, my toxic trait here, that Xavier was hot.
No, I mean,
sorry, is Katie frozen for you?
Yeah,
too?
she was. Yeah,
Okay.
she's good.
What is going on with me today? I don't know.
Oh yeah, she's still frozen.
We can hear.
Can you hear?
Though.
You can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Xavier is hot. I mean, like, there's no taking away from that. He just went through those glass panes like they were nothing.
That was insane. I was just like, is this good strategy? I was like, I know you're angry, Xavier, but if you would have taken 2 steps, like, I didn't understand his gameplay there. Like, I feel like that was just very poor decision on his. Like, I get it, you're mad, but sir, you're competing for money here. Like, you should have thought that a little for one more second. Because adding 50 seconds, I mean, I feel like if it were like if David and Justine were on the same team, were on the same timeline as X and Shan, they would have lost. Like, I think those 50 seconds literally cost him the entire game. So I just don't understand why he was so like gung-ho about blasting through all that glass. That was insane to me.
Yeah, if I'm Shan, I'm wondering, like, why do we think that giving them 50 seconds is a good decision, unless, like, is Shan afraid of breaking the glass? Like, why is Shan not lobbying to not break her own glass there? Right. You know what I mean? Like, Shan, of anyone, would be the one I would expect to speak up and be like, absolutely not. No.
Yeah, this was all a very strange decision.
It also, to me, underestimates Justine because, yeah, like, you're against David Alexander, whatever, but, like, you don't know what Justine is or isn't good at, do you? Yeah. Clearly, you don't know that she's better than you at puzzles. Like, also, the way that Justine and David broke through their glass, they looked like so timid doing it.
They did.
Yes. They went like doo doo as they were like blasting through like the Hulk, and they're going doo doo. It was so good.
I'm not joking. I thought that Justine had like a little hammer. I'm
That's
like,
what it looked like.
Are they giving her a little pick or something? Yeah. The way that she was knocking on it, I wasn't sure if that was true or not. If I was just like making it up, because I'm like, yo, Xavier's just like using his bare hand, and we've got we've got Justine over here with like a little pick. Like, what? But we get Xavier and Shan getting their puzzle pieces out first, but they have a 50-second penalty because Xavier broke all of the glass panes for Shan, and David and Justine only have a 10-second penalty, and they don't get out of the tunnel much later than Xavier and Shan do. So they basically have probably like a 35-second-ish advantage over them, which ended up probably what won them the round.
I would think so, yeah. The puzzle didn't look difficult.
No. Justine called out the picture almost right away. She's like, I think it's an eagle.
Yeah.
I thought
and they were like Tetris pieces, right?
Oh, she definitely called out a shape.
Yeah, I think she was like, it looks like fire, like a torch, and then something like that.
But as we know, Xavier and Shan lose to Justine. And David was there. But
David was there.
After that, we get some confessionals. We get Shan being like, I don't know why you did that, Alyssa. It doesn't make sense, which is like one of my least favorite confessionals from the person who loses. Like, clearly they got what they wanted. They threw you in and you're not coming back. Like, it doesn't need to make sense to you. It needs to make sense to them. And like, given strategy wise, it might not make the most sense, but that was the decision they made, and what they wanted to happen happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, why would you do that? Shut up, Shan. Go home. But Xavier's confessional, I loved hilarious.
I was laughing so hard at Xavier's confessional. That was really good. He really was like, I'm still rich, y'all broke. I don't give a fuck. I was like, Savior, talk your shit on your way out, because it's true. Kylan and Alyssa are probably not winning this, and you're the one who's won $750,000. You know?
Petty doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly. Petty does not pay the bills. Exactly.
Yeah, but Petty is like chicken soup for the soul. So.
Oh my God, it gave me everything. It gave me everything.
Yeah, so Xavier's like, he called them petty little bitches. And like you said, I won. I'm still rich. You're all broke. You're all stupid. So bye, Xavier. Like, thank you for those parting words. And this is where Oz is like, oh, I know. As soon as he gets his phone, he's leaving the group chat. There's why Xavier's staying in that group chat. And that is where our episode ends. What a good episode of the challenge.
Yeah, and let us not forget that Xavier also screwed over Tiffany, who's also part of his alliance for big. So like you kind of got your just desserts, my friend.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's what I was thinking. I wrote that down, but I forgot to mention it. But like when Alyssa was talking about how like Xavier backstabbed her, et cetera, on Big Brother, but like Xavier kind of was like on your side here, and like Tiffany, part of Tiffany going in was because X was like, yeah, I don't really care if Tiff goes in, basically. So X literally had your back in this game. So that added to my fuel of like, this is such a bad move, because I really think X would have had these two's back.
Yeah, I think throughout
the whole game.
I think so too. This was not the time to get your revenge. It doesn't make sense. Also, like, I don't know, win a competition on Big Brother, or I don't know, play a better game. It's not Xavier's fault that like you were a fool.
Yeah.
That's the game of Big Brother. Hello? What do you think? What game do you think you're playing?
They ran circles around you. Boo-hoo.
Yeah. Sorry.
If this is Alyssa's motivation to provide me with great content on the challenge, then so be it.
I still, unfortunately, give more credit to Kyland here, because just the pettiness from Kyland is so much more off the charts for me, just because of the history with him and Xavier. I'm just like, I can't believe this man is doing this again. Like, I just cannot. I can't believe it.
Yeah. I don't know how X can like, I feel like if it were me, like, I know it's reality TV and it's a game, but like, it would take me a while to get over this backstab. Like this, I feel like this is even crazier than Big Brother, because here, like, I was working with you, clearly working with you 100%. And like, especially from Kyland, who like we had the cookout together. I'm not going to backstab you in this game. There's no need for me to backstab you in this. This is not the same as Big Brother. So I feel like if I were X, like, I'd be hurt. Like, I would leave the group chat for a bit, be like, deuces, like, fuck this, we'll talk in 2 weeks. Like, I need some separation from us right now, because I would be more heated here than if I was backstabbed on Big Brother. So
the fact that Xavier could even be in the same room with Kyland after what he did on Big Brother, live on television, it's not on the feed. I mean, this was on the eviction episode as he walked out of the house. For anybody who didn't watch, Xavier's brother passed away, and Xavier's is like the mentor to his young nephew, and he voted out. Was it the Final Four? I think it was Final Four. Yes, he left the Final Four. So Xavier was the sole vote to evict Kyland, to make him leave the house. And Kyland said, it's a shame that your nephew, I know this is not word for word, something along the lines of, it's a shame that your nephew doesn't have a man to look up to. And like got in his face. And then Xavier was like, you bring up my family. And it was the most tense, uncomfortable, probably the most tense and uncomfortable Big Brother moment I've seen on the show, aside from what we saw tonight, because tonight was horrible. But I would never, the way that Xavier held his composure in that moment, I don't know how he did it. And the fact that you could even like be on a show with this man and not like try and take his head off at any chance, just for him to fuck you over again on television. There's no way you would catch me in the same room with this guy ever again. That's why I just find it so wild from Kyland that like, damn, you're doing even more, like you're really digging this hole for yourself. You're so petty.
Does Kylan operate, or I guess did he operate more under like it's a game in Big Brother? Because I feel like that's an easy shield in the challenge. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's just a game. Like, you're my competition in here, you know? Like, we can still be friends outside of this. Or no, is this just like, this is Kylan. This is his personality. Like, he'll cut you like this in real life.
He brought up Tiffany's family, Tiffany's son in the house. He was kind of trash on the show. He was a little trash. He took Derrick F's ring that his father gave him, his famous boxer father, he wore his ring out of the house, didn't take it off. I mean, like, or he took it off and he put it in his pocket when he left the house. I mean, this guy is like peak petty.
But it's funny. I feel like for Kylan, I think Kylan doesn't realize he's being like
I don't
this
think
petty.
so either. I don't think so either.
I think Kylan literally, like, especially like even with X, like with his nephew, like I think Kylan really just thinks this way, and he doesn't realize like he's not taking like the clues of like what you're doing can come off as really, really messed up. Like, sir, take 2 steps back and look at how it looks like from your view. So I think for Kylan, it's like it's so petty to do, but for Kylan, some of it I don't even think is him intentionally being like this super petty person, you know?
I just think he has full Joker energy. He's like the Joker.
I see that.
Well, I'm thankful for it.
Me too. Give me chaotic evil. I'm all about the chaotic evil. Give it to me. I love it.
That's where I fell on the alignment chart. I was on the neutral chaotic evil line. Yes, absolutely. I love sitting back and watching the world burn. Like, I encourage chaos at all times. If there's a good decision and a bad decision, I'm promoting the bad decision 10 times out of 10. Absolutely. I was just trying to convince my friend tonight to lead a revolution against her HOA as she like moves out. Like, why do they even exist? Like, just fucking
fucking HOA though.
Just get a petition going. Come on. But yeah, I think there definitely was a preview. Oh yeah, because they said they're getting dirty, like they're jumping into water. We didn't really see much otherwise.
Yeah, I don't feel like I remember.
I don't really remember.
Yeah, there was definitely. They showed more of like the elimination than anything else. There wasn't really any like people talking. So that's our episode this week. Do we have anything else we need to say about this chef's kiss of an episode of the Challenge USA?
We're eating good tonight. We had a very good episode of Big Brother, right? Yes. Leading up into a top 10 episode probably of the challenge for me. It's really up there. Tomorrow is going to be another great episode of Big Brother. I'm just we're eating this week, and I'm finally, after all the garbage that we've sat through on both of these shows for so long, we are due.
Yes, completely agree.
I just have to say, and Javier, I don't think you'll appreciate this as much as Katie will, but because I wasn't watching Big Brother leading up to the show, I was watching season 2 of Real Housewives of New Jersey, which is...
So you were also eating
I was doing great before this. That shit is crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, then let's wrap this up. Javier, let me see. Do I have a banner created for you? I must have made one at some point when we podcasted together. So, like, very slowly tell people where they can follow you on the internet. Otherwise, I'll just type one quick. Yep, I'm just going to type one quick.
So, everyone, you can find me at _TheStarboy on Twitter. I've been tweeting a lot about Big Brother this season. I really love Big Brother. And the show has really gotten good in the past, like, 5-6 days. Catch me tomorrow, probably live tweeting the eviction. And yeah, hopefully I'll be back on some more episodes of the Challenge podcast and other podcasts here on Silent Podcasts.
Woo, we love TJ Hates Quitters. Katie.
Woo-hoo.
Yes. You can throw me a follow on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. I'm also tweeting a lot about Big Brother, so mute the hashtag if you don't want to see it. There's some other stuff in there too. You just got to filter through it. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. You can also find me at a few different places in Silent Podcasts. You can, of course, listen to Carrie and I talk all things Real Housewives on the Cool Water Show. We are taking a 2-week break because, life happens. But we will be back for our 30th episode. What did we say we're drinking? Buzzballs?
Buzzballs!
Yeah, we're going to be drinking Buzzballs to celebrate our 30th episode's birthday. And you can also find me on Bounced Checks, the Big Brother podcast that myself, Josiane, Isaiah, and rotating guest Javier, if you're ever interested. And we cover all things Big Brother 24. We will be back on Friday breaking down this crazy week where we thought the game was over. And it really just really just begun, and it's just giving us more than I think we ever thought we would get from this season. I mean, so many of us were ready to just be done, and now we're here, just can't get away from it.
Yeah, Twitter has really done a 180 on this season in the last like 3 days. So good for you guys. I'm glad you're getting a product that you like. I'm glad that Taylor is getting some I don't know, justice in all of this. I fear, and not in a nice way, for Daniel's life, because it seems like Twitter is gonna
Entertainment Tonight is writing articles about I just retweeted one. Entertainment Tonight is writing articles about how reviled Daniel is. This man is toast.
Yikes.
Oh, it's gonna be Twitter's gonna be great when Daniel gets evicted.
number two trending in the US tonight was Daniel. I mean, this is it for him.
Yeah.
Bye, Daniel.
Hate to see it. Just kidding. Love to see it.
Love to see it.
You can follow me, KGD26, on all of your social media platforms, including Be Real. I am like in love with this. So if
ad.
If you aren't, yeah, our first ad was Nani's Noodles. Our second ad is Be Real. So if you're on Be Real and you're not following me, please do, because I fucking love it. It just brings me like such joy to see what the people around me are doing at like 6:02 in the evening. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I was trying to get my dog to go outside, but he was running away from me the other side of the apartment. The game he plays with me every single time, you little jackass. And like, that's when they Be Realed me. So like, I don't know, I really like it. So if you're on Be Real and you aren't following me yet, it's KGD26 there. I'm also on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Venmo, just, you know, the works. But Katie's covered all my podcasts, so I don't really think I need to say much. We will be back next week with TJ Hates Quitters. We're taking a 2-week break from Real Housewives because I have to move and shit. So, but we'll be back with the Buzzballs. If you like to watch the video of this, which, like, why would you wouldn't? Because I did an impersonation of David Alexander on TikTok, so like, that's on him. You would have seen Katie eat cheesecake if you're watching the video. Like, there's reasons to watch this. I think it just makes it that much better. Plus, we love when you watch live and interact with us. We put the comments up there. It's like our favorite thing. But Twitch and YouTube, search Silent Podcast. That's us. Follow us. And then we are on Twitter at silent_podcast. And if you listen to us in podcast form, whether it's Spotify, Apple, the works, follow, subscribe, rate, review. I think this was a 5-star episode. Usually I say if it wasn't a 5-star episode to wait, but if you didn't think this was 5 stars, fuck you. So
because I brought a prop. This cheesecake has been staring at me in the face for over an hour. I'm dying to eat it.
This was quality. So this is a 5-star episode. Go and rate us tonight. We deserve it. Bringing you that content right after the show while we're all still pumped up about it. But until next week, we hope you have a great night. We hope reality TV keeps treating you as well as it did this evening. And we will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.